Hey.
What's up? Welcome to the Hangout. This one's very special. We have a guest.
The resident tech gremlin, as they said earlier.
We got Yang Yang is off to a venture in far off lands. So we get Allie to help us run things and hang out.
Yeah. That's what we do here.
Yeah. I just realized I have to move my camera because it's in the wrong. I'm looking in the wrong spots.
I'm just like, I don't know where my eyes are. It's on the screen.
Well,
whatever, somewhere.
I hate my camera for this because if I look directly, I'm looking at the lens of the camera right now, and it looks like I'm just looking up. But if I look here, like right at myself, it looks like I'm looking directly at the camera.
You look very earnest when you're looking at the camera. Like it felt like you were going to tell me something. I've heard. I don't know if any of you ever tried this. That a good way, because it feels weird talking to the camera directly, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to like move the camera for everybody. So that putting the camera by your face and just talking like you're talking into a mirror is helpful. But I've also heard you put googly eyes on the camera and then it feels like a person. So you look at the camera when you're talking. I have not tried it.
I kind of love that.
I do have a surplus of googly eyes around here. So
yeah, I would never do that because I don't talk directly to people's eyes anyway.
I mean, that's also true.
That's fair.
So,
yeah.
like, I feel like the camera is sort of the essential experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that the great thing about doing all the online stuff? Is I no longer had to see people face to face.
Yeah, and I'm just neurodivergent. Eye contact is hard.
Yeah. I understand.
I'm the closest to NT I know, and like I don't like eye contact particularly.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I guess I'm the only eye contact person. This is a fascinating experience. Oh.
See, this is the funny thing about pre-recording ones is like I'm over here like I don't know what to talk about for anything because I don't want to spoil anything. Like I know things.
Yeah, that's something that's going to be interesting because we've been doing all of Isekai has been pre-recorded, so we're going to be having to be careful.
I'm just like whatever.
You'll see when it happens.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in Hangouts, we tend to talk like, I don't know, Baldur's Gate 3 and
yeah,
like,
I can talk about that at an annoying length.
Yeah, same.
I have to call out Rumpus, who's like, eye contact, you must be from the Midwest. And yes.
Fair.
If we ever do a writing about dragons and shit panel or something, you and B-Dave can handle all of that. I'll be
also looking at people.
Yeah.
Actually, that got me into trouble with an interview once because it was a proper, like, it was when my traditionally published books were out. And so before signing, they did like a proper, like they had a camera and then like an interviewer. And so they did the thing where the interviewer is angled so the camera's just slightly over their shoulder. And you can look at the interviewer and like not stare into the camera, but it gives a sort of more conversational feeling to the interview. And so, but I wasn't going to like eye contact the interviewer. So I was like slightly over the shoulder, mostly eye contact, and then shit, camera, no, that's the person. Because the thing about like not quite eye contact is like you shift around a little bit. So you're not like staring relentlessly in any one spot. You're sort of going around, and then I would hit the camera again. I'm like, no, and swerve off.
See, I have
so stressful.
I have the problem where like I unfortunately do the office like look at the camera that doesn't exist and give it a look sort of thing, which is funny because I didn't even watch The Office.
You just break a fourth wall in case it's there. I love it.
And so like there's been times where I've been in a situation like that and I've just looked dead at the camera. I'm I'm like, oh wait, no, you exist. I gotta look at one that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like I got in trouble. Like someone tried to call me out on that like the first time I did a stream game because they were like, look at Trevor over here trying to get all these reaction gifs made of him, and someone else was in the game who played with me in home games. They're like, no, that's just him. He just makes reactions all the time.
Which, like, okay, I'm a little like rude because part of the fun of an actual play is like watching other people do cool stuff. And maybe I just have a very reactive face, so I'm feeling a little attacked right now.
Right?
I'm not seeking further attention for it. I just get excited, and my face is a little mobile.
That's the same thing. Like I've heard from one of our viewers that apparently I make a lot of really great expressions, and I'm like, really? And then I'm rewatching like as I'm editing.
It's an asset.
Yeah. As I'm editing episodes, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what they're talking about. It's like, I'm not doing that on purpose, I promise.
I do it on purpose sometimes for like the social contract. Like I was at I think it was a living history museum, and so the reenactor was telling like a myth, so I'd heard it before, but I was like, you're doing a good performance. So I was like reacting to it. My father was like, oh, you had a lot of fun. I was like, I knew that myth like backwards and forwards, but like the performer, I needed to like encourage.
Yeah. I want reactive people in an audience if I got to be up there. Because if I just have people stone cold looking at me.
That's not fun.
No.
That's stressful.
Yeah. And then, like, people who do complain about people being like, oh, they're too reactive on stream. It's like, what would you rather? Would you rather they just staring like,
right?
Like, dead to the camera?
Or reading something on the screen. Like, I feel like that at work, most people turn their cameras off rather than sort of do the, like, I am reading another document.
Like I've been on streams with people where I've like later seen someone say like, oh, they're just like they're overreacting because they're on stream, and I'm like, no, like that's you don't know the person.
Catch up.
Not everyone has the same reaction as you, which is why you're probably not on the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it was that, we'd just do podcasting all the time, which I'm not against, but
Fair.
I wish we could do. I would love to do an actual play that we did a podcast of, because I think that's a great way to get to more people. Every time I bring this up, Yang Yang's like, it's so complicated. Everybody needs better sound. We need to describe things better. But I feel like Trevor has a different point of view.
Has heard a lot of actual play podcasts because y'all's audio is pretty dang good.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Well, counterpoint then.
I've been thinking about actually pitching to the Chris's for Isekai about ripping the audio from the episodes and doing kind of making podcast forms of it.
I mean,
I've been thinking that.
Yeah, you can. Like, I mean, that's what I used to do, Champions of Lore and Champions of Psych, because I just take the stream, download it, throw it up as audio.
Which did you ever go back? I mean, you had listened to edit. There was a period where I was sick, and it was exactly the right amount of thing to pay attention to, was to listen to old episodes of like Champions of Lore. And there are so many times that we talk about something funny we're looking at. And the worst part of it is, I think many of those times, we don't even show the people in the Twitch chat. We just tell them, go to our website. Make it fair,
It's even that way.
Yeah. It's balancing things. Also, there's one where I do a recap of Court of the Raven Queen, and I do an impression of the Raven Queen, which is this. And it doesn't translate to podcasts.
And you know what? And I left those pauses in the audio.
Yeah, it's an impactful pause without.
Yeah. I think there's not there's honestly not a ton of moments that I think that wouldn't translate well in the Isekai game, other than like the couple times in the first 5 episodes where he has like Yang Yang put something up on the screen to show people. Otherwise, like, he's pretty descriptive. Like it's
Well, like
That's good.
the first time like I ever heard any kind of D&D being played in a podcast, it was when Penny Arcade and PvP did the game with Chris Perkins for 4th edition. And like in that, like that to me, like I still go back and listen to those just for nostalgic reasons. They don't hold up very well compared to like things today, because they're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna move my dude here. I'm gonna attack that one. It's like they weren't doing something.
There's a lack of awareness. Yeah.
Well, it's also like no one had done that before, so you can't knock them for not knowing anything of that. But also, it's just like, yeah, I'm just listening to people play D&D. Like that's what I'm here for. Yeah, but I did. This is funny. I've actually not talked about this publicly. I did record my friends and I did record a podcast game that never went up. And we recorded, actually, I can tell you the exact amount, because we recorded, I think, about like 12 or 13 episodes. And they just for one reason or another, we just never did anything with them.
When we do Extra Life, would you make that a goal? If they give you a certain amount of money, you'll post your podcast game.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's not going to be very satisfying because we just stopped playing suddenly. But
how long ago did you do this?
Let's see.
Is it possible you were younger and more embarrassing? Because people love that.
No, this was last year.
Oh.
Yeah. No, like it was good because it was definitely a lot more freeing with stuff. Because when you're doing a live stream, you don't pause for like looking up a rule, or someone's like, I gotta step away real quick or anything like that. And so it was kind of nice being able to just play a game and then take it later and trim things down to make it work for a podcast. Like I essentially I had the timer running. I had a note sheet next to me, and anytime there was one of those like long pauses, or we did something just that was outside of the game, just wrote down the timestamp, go back later and take care of it. And it was freeing, but at the same time, I do enjoy like the live stream aspect of it. Like I was like, we're all in right now, and we're just all in for 3 hours. Let's go.
I enjoy that aspect with you guys. Like, okay, here's the thing that happens in this episode, which is not spoilery. There's a throwaway line that an NPC says, and then Steven decides that's what he wants. And I was not prepared for it. And then there was some tweaking of the thing. And the nice thing about this bunch is I can say, talk amongst yourselves for a minute, and they will be entertaining while I hunt up rules and lore and try to cobble a thing together that I absolutely did not plan for.
Doing it live.
Yeah, that's always the way of it.
Times where you're like, or like when last week when Stong hit the one of the children of the mirror with the bed with the sleep charm on it, and I was like,
then you did the cropping to move it.
I tried really hard to make the map matter. But I was also like, does that work on this? I actually don't know. I need to look some things up. What does this mean? Does this count as this kind of an effect? Hang on. And you're right. Like that probably could have gone. But in my defense, I didn't see, and maybe I should have, Stong picking up an entire bed and flinging it at a monster in the hopes it would knock it out.
Fun times.
I mean, I would have liked it when I first started, because I feel like when I first started, like there was a lot of sort of like, oh, I'm going to cast a spell on my list. This spell. What the range? The flip. The range on the spell. Oh, we're almost there in the alphabet, because it was a hardcover book at that time.
Right.
D&D Beyond does help.
Once we switched to D&D Beyond, it was just so much easier not to go, I don't know, Eldritch Blast, I guess.
Well, see, that I was gonna say, I'm like, that's the thing I like playing a warlock on stream is, and Aaron and I were talking about this earlier. It's like if it comes to my turn, I'm like, oh, I didn't plan out what I was going to do. Eldritch Blast,
Yeah.
Which is like a nice safety net, but also is like super duper boring.
But I think like I do think that a lot of classes do sort of have that because like if you're a fighter, I'm like, I wasn't really paying attention. I just go up and hit it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm actually kind of glad I'm not playing a spellcaster in Isekai Realms, just because we're using second edition, and D&D Beyond cannot help us.
Oh,
And you guys don't have like, do you guys have like actual classes, or is he sort of said you're you, and here's some things that happen?
So we have classes. That's
Okay.
but we started off not knowing what they were. We still don't even have our full sheets.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have the full sheet. We just have.
I mean, I'm okay with that because I'm just like, okay, Chris, I'm doing a thing. Tell me what to roll, and then like you tell me if it works. Whatever, I don't care. I don't know.
I go like this.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
So I know that sorcerers aren't like 100% 2e or weren't 2e.
They're
Anyway,
not.
I got
oh
a
no,
sorcerer.
yeah, no, they didn't come around till third.
I got a
Yeah.
sorcerer out of him because F wizards, man.
Yeah, he put together a house ruled sorcerer using like the spell point system from second edition.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
It's actually pretty neat. Where are you? But
It's a very silly stand to take, but it is a stand that I am taking.
You're allowed those as long as it's like you choose them wisely, and I don't believe you have a lot of hills. You're like, I'm dying on this one. Oh,
I don't think I have a lot. I don't think I have any like hills I'll die on classes. I think the only one that like 9 times out of 10 I'll end up yelling at people is that Eldritch Knight is a trap.
You know, I feel that though.
Yeah, like
I'm with you on
my
that
friend has like. He and I like played Skyrim very similar, where it's just like sword hit this hand, magic this hand, go boom. Like that's what we want to throw fire and we want to hit something. That's all we want to do. And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do Eldritch Knight." I'm like, "It's not that.
No.
It's not that.
No.
No. Like you are taking
Sounds
spells
like it.
to buff you and to buff you only."
Yeah.
I think the only hill I'll die on is that I have expectations of how a warlock pact works.
Yeah.
And I don't budge on those. And if you, the DM, feel differently, that conversation really should happen very at the beginning, so I can be like, not for me.
That's
Because
what session zeros
I will
are for.
die on that hill.
See, with my warlock thing is like it's so weird. I'm just like, yeah, I just don't really care about the patron. Like,
that's why we had this conversation. And I'm like, here's how I will allow this.
yeah.
Because I'm a real bitch about it.
Like I was in a game once and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have your patron show up." I'm like, could you not?
See, I would live for that. I love the idea of the patron causing shenanigans. That's something when we're doing Grey Mantle, I have my character there is a rogue warlock. So when the patron just like mucking in things is one of my favorite aspects.
They don't have to be evil, and you don't have to sell your soul, and they best not be a god unless there's different kinds of weirdness going on. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yep. There's an episode of Champions of Lore where you can hear Aaron's rant about warlocks.
Yeah. There was some point where B-Dave's like, a warlock's just a dirty cleric, and my head almost exploded. So they had to let me have an episode to yell about it.
I'm gonna see if I can actually find it.
Because Florin's a hexblade, and the thing we came to is that your sword is basically just a piece of the Shadowfell.
Aaron, this is how much I enjoy your rant about warlocks. I went to YouTube and I typed in Champions of Lore, and the top thing was Champions of Lore Warlock.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's a not a warlock episode. That's what we named it. I'm gonna put
I
that
love
in
it.
that.
For anyone who's coming to Fearful Symmetry without having watched Westgate Irregulars, my character Cecilia, who is the progenitor of Ilya Dovoskaya, it was a warlock who was telling everybody she was a Rashemi witch. So that's how I introduced her, not a warlock.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why Florin is 100% a warlock.
I miss Cecilia sometimes, but I'm having a lot of fun running this game.
Oh, this game is so much dang fun. But
Ilya is awesome too.
I go on record in either tonight's episode or next week saying Ilya is my favorite NPC.
I'm glad I made up that dumb weird accent for the.
It's perfect.
Which is like sort of Swedish and sort of Italian, and I don't know what's going on there. But I did it in those Rashemi games. I was like, this is kind of fun. So Cecilia got rid of her accent. Ilya super did not.
Fine. Yeah. One of the things I was thinking about, though, when you were talking about, like, when Stong threw the bed, and it's like, I don't know how this would work and stuff like that. That is one thing that I do really enjoy about Baldur's Gate 3 is, like, I've got all of the things of 5th edition, but also not all of the constantly, well, what else could I do? How could I be smart in this? How can I use the environment? And it's just like, no, just blow up a barrel. I don't know. Like there's definitely a few times in that game where there's things in the environment to be used that way, but they're very much set there like, say, hey, you could do this. You could do that.
That is one thing I love about watching Yang Yang do combat, that he likes to go in and go, what is the most creative thing I can do with this? And so you get circumstances like, oh, when we went to fight that mind flayer and he like took a bunch of brains and did animate objects. It was like trying to entice / pelt the mind flayer. Am I remembering this right? I just remember that was like the first thing he did with animate objects.
It was like 10 points of braining.
Yes, that's right. Or like getting super big to fight the boar spirit. It's fun, but it's also if you're DMing, there's this like, you want to make sure that there's space for him to do that. But that, for example, like hitting them with the bed was brilliant. But at that point I was like, oh crap, if this works, this fight's over. And I super thought it would go longer. So let me make sure, is this something that ought to take effect? But fortunately for me, that was a thing you learned. You can't use sleep on them.
I remember like the first time my players did something that was just like completely unexpected and used the environment. Because like we started on 4th edition, which was very much like, it's a tactics game. These are the rules that you have, and these things do this to this specific thing. And they're fighting a bunch of vampires in like an old tomb. And my wife goes, what if I used this to blow up this part of the roof? Would sun shine in from there? And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great. That's awesome.
And I got like so like after the game, I was just like, that was so cool. You guys, you did and then there was, that's so cool.
That is exciting.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
It's really cool when people come up with something really, I don't know, unexpected.
Yeah.
With the little asterisk of when you're trying to fill exactly 3 hours and you didn't plan super duper well. There's a little frisson of terror that goes with it.
Yeah.
Like I want to reward this, but also.
God, I don't even remember what show it was, but I remember one time, like, it was 10 minutes till we were going to get into the call, and I was like, oh, no, I don't think I prepped enough. Oh, I don't think I prepped enough at all. And then I remembered who I was playing with. I'm like, oh, no, it'll be fine. They'll handle, like, majority of this time.
I feel like I do that when I prep for this show. Like for most of the time, like I'm like, okay, there's like 3 or 4 things, and this are the things we're gonna set up. And then, oh god, it's not like this episode that's coming up. I was like, oh no, they're gonna blow through it really fast. And I always forget, you guys talk a lot, and it's great and it's engaging, and I don't count that time when I'm thinking about it like a ding dong, because that is absolutely like the heart of the show is the character interactions. So worst case scenario, I'm like, talk about your feelings.
Boom, there you go.
It's good DM advice. Talk about your feelings.
We're at our time, are we?
Yeah,
I think we are. It's time to start the show.
Yep.
So hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be starting right after this.